You want to become an entrepreneur, but you wonder that I don't know coding, I don't know technology, how do I start an IT startup? Here is your answer. In this video, I'm going to tell you that you don't have to know it all, but still become all of what you want. Hey folks, I am CSK, your personal coach, and you're watching me on my channel CSKSpeaks. Every time I interact with students, especially the college students, the youth of our country today, I talk to them about entrepreneurship, I talk to them about hidden potential, I talk to them about how they can shape up their careers, and at the end of these sessions, I get asked one question. Especially when I am talking to students from humanities, commerce, management background. They all stand up and ask, it's all fine, even we have dreams to get into entrepreneurship. Even we have dreams to have our own startups. Even we want to become big businessmen. But the problem today is we don't have technological background. We don't have coding, we don't have programming, and we don't know hardcore computer science. We have not studied that in our curriculum. Now when I hear this question, I find my answer in not inspiration or motivation. I find my answer in a story on observation. And I share with them that story to tell them that it is possible. You don't have to study coding or programming, you can still become an entrepreneur and achieve great success. Now you don't believe that, or you might believe that, but if you listen to this story, you will know that you can answer any other student or youth who comes to you with a similar dilemma. This story is about the dreadful disease of diabetes. Now diabetes is not new to us. All of us have come in contact with diabetes in some manner or the other. At least our loved ones or someone we know, or how diabetes affects people, we have heard all of that. In fact, India is on its way to become the diabetic capital of the world. Now if this is the fury of the disease, how did it origin? Where did it origin? And how did people realize how diabetes was caused in human beings? For that, we have to go back to 250 BC in ancient Greece. It was there for the first time people realized that sugar was getting drained out of the human body along with blood. And over a period of time, they called it diabetes. But that was just naming the disease. None of them ever could find the cause as to why this is happening. There were a lot of other cures which were suggested to stop that. Some people said go for fasting, some people gave different other antidotes to these particular things or some kind of medicines, but then none of them could realize the basic cause, the cause for this sugar loss through blood. It was only in the year 1889, two researchers got an answer to this by chance. These two researchers are one, Oskar Minkowski, and two, Joseph Van. These two people were doing research on dogs, and their job was to collect dogs and to extract different body organs and to study the impact of that body organ on the dog's behavior, dog's activity, and dog's routine. And when they were doing this, one day they found a swarm of flies and ants in their labs. Now, this was unprecedented. Every single time they were experimenting, they had other issues of blood and other flesh related things, but they never saw these kind of problems in the lab. They had a team of helpers cleaners who used to keep the lab clean and tidy, and these people were helping them with all their research. Now when this situation happened, where they were cutting down the legs or the hands or the limbs or different parts of the body of the dogs, and they were trying to keep it for research, when this situation happened, the cleaners were called immediately. And when they were called, they also could not figure out as to why this is happening, why so many ants and so many flies suddenly in the lab. But the cleaners were very good at their jobs. What they did was, let's do this, let's understand where is this coming from, and to do that, let's separate these dogs. Let's separate these dogs and then see where the flies are getting attracted to. And when they did that, they just found the answer in that question. They found that exact dog which was attracting flies and ants, and that was the reason for all this mess. And what did they found? They found that the urine of that particular dog and the space the dog occupied was completely filled with ants and flies. And that's when these two researchers got the answer by chance, that they had just extracted pancreas from that dog. And what did pancreas do? Because that dog did not have pancreas, the dog could not regulate the blood and the sugar levels. So the sugar level in the body was getting lost through urine and also through blood. That attracted the ants and the flies. Now when they discovered that it is the pancreas in the body which kind of regulates the blood sugar level, they understood that this is the problem and this is the root cause. That was 1889 when they realized that it is the pancreas which regulates the blood sugar levels, and from there they extrapolated that research to human beings, and from there on people started realizing that pancreas needs to be treated. Now fast forward 1924, two more scientists won their Nobel Prize for discovering insulin as a potential cure, or at least a medicine to regulate diabetic control. Now we all know that since 1924 to even to this day, insulin is our best friend whenever we encounter diabetes, right? So that's the journey of diabetes, from what diabetes was to what was the cure, or rather the cause, and then a potential cure in insulin. Now when you know the story, when you look at it and when you trace its history, you will realize that the real aha moment was not in those two people, the scientists or the researchers, finding the pancreas. The real aha moment was when the cleaners separated the dogs and understood what was the root cause for the ants and the flies to come into the lab. And from there on, everything else was built on one after the other. Now my answer to the students when they ask me, we don't have coding, we don't have programming, we don't have tech background, is you don't need that to become an entrepreneur. You don't need that to have your startup. All you need to do is observe. I mean, remember, those cleaners were never doing research in the lab, they were just doing their cleaning job. But they were trying to find out how can they clean better, how can they make their job easier. And in entrepreneurship, isn't that what we talk about? Can you solve the problem? Can you identify the problem and look at the potential solutions? And to identify the problem, you need to have observation. Inspiration, motivation, technology, curriculum are all important. I'm not saying no to them, but observation is the key. So if you are into arts, humanities, science, commerce, you can still be an entrepreneur. It's not the forte of only engineers. So look at it from that perspective, and every time you get asked this question as to I don't have this, remember it was the cleaner who identified the cause for diabetes and not the researchers. Thank you very much. Keep liking, sharing and commenting. I'll be back with more such stories and videos, and let's build this community together.